The way in which Battlefield 2042 has been and continues to be marketed to the players, in my own opinion, is superb, especially when compared to previous Battlefield titles. Before we get into the meat of the conversation, firstly, yes, I completely agree that we should see actual uncut gameplay of multiplayer as soon as possible, as really, that's what most fans of the series care about. Like I've touched on in the past though, the decision to keep the community questioning and guessing for things, in turn, keeps interest quite high. We haven't seen gameplay because that's how EA wants to market this game. With that said, today's video is all about the June marketing for Battlefield 2042, the initial reveal period of the game, and how the community and marketing team at EA scrambled to put something together that again, in my opinion, ended up being one of the best game reveals this franchise has ever seen. Let's rewind, however. Back to summer last year, the Battlefield franchise was probably at an all-time low. Yes, we've seen less popular titles released before, underperformance in terms of player retention or lack of sales, but in general I think plenty of us would agree that when Battlefield 5's support was cut short last year, a good chunk of the player base called it quits. Online chatter about Battlefield was close to non-existent, and what little there was left was overwhelmingly negative due to the countless controversies Battlefield 5 brought about. Quote, don't like it, don't buy it. Hashtag everyone's Battlefield. Unclear game design, ever-changing gameplay mechanics and values, it all left a very sour taste in the community's mouth. So to kickstart the marketing for the next Battlefield game with this community sentiment must have been an extremely daunting task. To know all eyes are on you, watching and judging everything. And things didn't exactly begin as expected either. What rhymes with soon, June, boom. This one tweet caused the core Battlefield community to completely erupt. While I and many others saw the joke here, it's fair to say most people either didn't or they simply chose to ignore it. Months of false claims and disappointment only to be teased even further with a tweet. Well, let's just say plenty of people weren't a fan. Again, while I was a little disappointed we'd have to wait another month or so to see anything, I saw the joke for what it was and just moved on. But the fact remains, people were pissed. So again, how could EA and DICE turn this one around? The months, if not years of anger built on the foundations of Battlefield 5 controversy, a joke tweet that ignited the rage once again, well, J-Dot has the answers thanks to his amazing article titled Teasing Battlefield 2042 or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Pivot. Thanks again to the EA community team and J-Dot of course for allowing me to cover this article in a video. I have J-Dot's Twitter and article linked below. I really hope you lads check it out as I'm purposefully leaving out some details in my video as I don't wish to take away from the original writing. While my video retains the full storyline, there's some really cool assets in the article that I will not be sharing here. So then, let's get into it. Following on from the June boom tweet in May, it turns out the marketing and community teams at EA had a very different reveal planned. While J-Dot doesn't disclose what the original plan was, it was always going to begin as it did on the 4th of June, with the full reveal going live on the 9th of June, so the dates were never changed, but the marketing method surely was. According to J-Dot, he, quote, opened his emails to the news that a critical function of the campaign was no longer feasible, jeopardizing the entire teaser campaign. He had to make the call that the investment and current return on investment was unacceptable and they needed to pivot. This happened on the 28th of May, a Friday, exactly 1 week before the teaser campaign was scheduled to begin. Reading this makes me stressed, so I can't even imagine how they felt. Imagine having plans in place to reveal one of the biggest shooter IPs in the world and it all falling apart just a few days before it's supposed to happen. Having gotten just a few hours of sleep, J-Dod describes his interactions with the US-based senior director at EA and how a plan of action needed to be made. By this point, all of the funds had already been allocated. The marketing team couldn't just get more money and put it into a brand new marketing campaign, so they were on a very, very strict budget. Like I mentioned, the campaign had to start on Friday the 4th, as the reveal was already in place to go ahead on the 9th. Not only that, but J-Dod even touches on the fact that they were combating numerous leaks they'd suffered the week before. Someone that took part in the behind the scenes reveal of the game illegally shared screenshots that were unfortunately making their way around the internet. On top of that, EA has partners who supply tools or media to assist with the marketing of a game. There is a minimum amount of time required for these assets to be supplied. This is called a service level agreement. It meant EA couldn't just whip together a fancy trailer in just a day or two. Different tools or assets required too much time the community and marketing teams just didn't have. So this is what J-Dod and the team were facing. These were their issues. Next, J-Dod describes the objective. What exactly are they trying to do with this teaser campaign? I won't even paraphrase here, as J-Dod knows better than anyone what their goal was. Quote, drive mass awareness, conversation and speculation about the upcoming Battlefield 2042 reveal trailer from creators, press and core community advocates. At this point, the team has identified the issues and what the objective is. Next, J-Dod needs to figure out how to get it all done in the quickly shrinking time frame. What they came up with is this. Quote, create a grassroots, digitally native teaser campaign that delivers compelling content directly to creators within budget while enabling conversation to scale. In J-Dod's article, he breaks this strategy down in fantastic detail, and I urge you all to give it a read for yourself. In summary though, the marketing team needed a cost-effective means of sharing this teaser content. Physically mailing stuff was completely out of the question, as that's far too expensive, and remember, with creators and press all over the world, there was very little guarantee any of that stuff would arrive on time. Questions about the game needed to be answered, so the little marketing media they had from the original campaign needed to be repurposed for this one. And finally, the content being sent to creators needed to be shareable, meaning it was easy to download and share with audiences. With the Battlefield community's love of Easter egg hunting to begin with, all the pieces were set up perfectly. All of this was put into place in just a couple of days, but by the 4th of June, creators like myself saw those very first direct messages from the Battlefield Twitter account pop up. Because it was all done on Twitter without any creator knowledge prior to the campaign, the only expense was actually paying the EA community and marketing teams. However, while this second plan was put into effect on the 4th of June, it did undergo one change. By Saturday the 5th of June, the official Battlefield account had sent 500 direct messages to over 250 creators. Again, we had no idea this was going to happen, so the sharing of this teaser content was very organic. According to J-Dod, the reception to this teaser material was fantastic. Speculation and theories about the game were rampant across the core community, and Battlefield began attracting more and more attention online. However, this is when the plan had to change again. J-Dod writes, quote, I was concerned that the follow-up teaser would not meet expectations. We had planned to send through one last static image of the NOPAT logo. However, because we weren't planning to truly reveal the background of the NOPATs until August, an enigmatic logo, not tied to what had previously been shown, nor alluding to what players wanted, had the potential to draw criticism. So essentially, the two teasers that had been shown were very different to the third NOPAT logo teaser they had planned. I agree with the decision to cut this one out, as it would have just confused players. At least with the first two teasers, different objects could be made out, like an attack helicopter, but the NOPAT symbol wouldn't have made sense to anyone as it's completely fictional. Not only that, but at this point, leakers were sharing critical information about the game, and JDOD felt that they would just spoil the backstory if the NOPAT symbol was shared. The NOPAT logo was cut, and instead, the model they went with was 2 DMs along with plenty of social media teasing like the profile glitchy stuff. In total, the teaser content amassed 4.7 million views and a jump in online conversation about Battlefield of 300%. Considering just how quickly it was all put together and how little the team needed to spend on it, I'd call it a major success. There's far more detail in the article from JDOD, like I said, but right down the bottom, he ends with, quote, "It proved to be a very strong way to create a large spike in conversation about a product, and I suspect we'll see more of it soon. Maybe this sort of teasing will be done for the unknown Hazard Zone game type later this month." Now obviously, I can already see the comments about how creators like myself have clearly provided free labor in marketing this teaser content, and to some degree, yeah, I suppose that's a fair viewpoint. On the other hand, I think as a creator focused on the Battlefield franchise, someone that has to make a living off of videos you lads watch, I want this franchise to be as popular as it can be. I want it to succeed more than anyone because, well, if the game does well, then I do well. It's really that simple. With a teasing campaign like this, not only does the marketing team benefit from having fewer and lower costs, but so do the creators like me who see an influx of viewers. As long as things are kept organic, that is. I think further marketing like this could really pay off, but where the trouble lies is when creators are paid to relay specific things. That's when we enter the realm of paid for opinions. You know, the typical old school influencer stuff. Thankfully, EA seems to be against that sort of behavior. Huge shout out to JDOD and the team for pulling this one off without any issues, especially with the context this article gives us. To know how it was done and the thinking behind it really makes it all that bit more impressive. Here's to hoping the talent that gave us such an incredible reveal will do one even better when they do inevitably reveal the gameplay. My guess is that the gameplay footage we're seeking will be shared at Gamescom in just a few weeks, maybe even our first look at Hazard Zone 2, a mode that I know plenty of us are very eager to learn about. But anyway, thank you for watching. For more Battlefield 2042 content, tickle that subscribe button. I would really appreciate that. Until the next one though, I will see you lads later.